So this is welcome to everyone who's going to join in or who's joined in already. I just wanted to tell you something that this is something which I've just started. It's called Soul to Soul Sessions with AB. I'm going to try and get experts from the various fields related to mental and emotional well-being, physical well-being, and spiritual well-being. So the idea is to get to an evolution phase in the all facets of life, whether it's spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical. And today joining me is a multifaceted personality, Mike Tolani. Mike, thank you for joining us from Atlanta,
Sure.
USA. To tell you a brief about Mike, Mike has been a nutritionist for more than 15 years. He's a certified nutritionist. He's also been an Ayurvedic practitioner for 3 years. He's been a life coach for 3 years right now. And he's recommending supplements for more than 20 plus years right now. He's also done a couple of certified courses. There is a type diet with Dr. Berg. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike.
No, that's
He's
correct.
also done the inner engineering course with Sadhguru, and also the Kriya Yoga course with Sri Ravi Shankar. So amazing, and it's a privilege to have you here, Mike. And thank you for joining us.
No, it's my privilege, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I think it's good to deep dive into the question, and of course, if there is question which would be by the viewers, we'll pose it to you. But so the first question, Mike, which is there that uh, can really vitamins and minerals make up for our poor diet? I mean, or let me phrase the question the other way: if you already are following a healthy diet, is it still important over and above that to have in your vitamins and minerals intake, to supplement
Yeah,
your.
yeah. There are two sides to this. You have to understand, vitamins come from vegetables and fruits. That's the only place we get these vitamins, minerals from. Of course, vegetable fruits and the water, which is the minerals. So nowadays, even if you're on a great diet, if you're following all the rules, you're doing everything right, you're eating your 4 or 5 vegetables a day, you're eating your 4 or 5 fruits a day. I mean, this time in the lifestyle we live is very tough. So even if you are, how's the food cooked? Has it been cooked the right way? Has it cooked properly?
Mike, we're losing you in terms of network connection. We're losing you. Yeah. Can you hear me, Mike? Because your screen is frozen.
Yeah, how's that? Now I've got my video also, so this is better. So as I was saying, the quality of food makes a huge difference. Makes a difference between, yes, if you're eating the right food, but is it properly cooked or is it overcooked? Is it organic? Is it grown in the right place in the right time? And also, how's your gut, your digestive system? How is it absorbing those nutrients from those? And that's very hard to understand. No matter how many tests you do, it's very tough. The other situation I would see is whatever is recommended by the RDA or the FDA as to what when you look at the back of those labels, the amount of vitamin A or vitamin C that you need, it's basically just above a threshold from not getting a disease. Like when they had rickets or they had scurvy, it was lack of vitamin A, lack of vitamin C. But do we as individuals, do we want to be just at that level? No, you want to be at a higher threshold where not only that you're not close to getting a disease, but you feel vibrant. So yes, you do need some kind of supplementation going on in these days to fill those gaps, because the gaps could be digestive again, it could be the quality of the food, the way it is cooked and stuff. So there are a lot of different facets to this. It's not just plain taking a supplement or not. Of course, I would not go out there and randomly take everything. But yes, I think supplementation in this day and age is definitely a must. Definitely a must. So I hope that clarifies, like, if I should take
Yeah,
supplements or not. I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah,
imagine
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
who's you can imagine somebody who's in a daily activity is much higher than an average person. Me, he's exercising, that she's doing yoga, or she's got a very demanding job, physical job, where they're a trucker, or somebody who lifts weights for work. So obviously those guys would need a little bit more extra, and the daily diet is just not sufficient. It's just not sufficient. And of course your daily habits. Who eats 4 vegetables a day? Who eats 4 fruits a day? I mean, it's pretty tough with this day and age, with your lifestyle moving around. You're just busy with work and stuff. So yes, I think supplementation is beneficial. It is beneficial.
Okay. And who? I mean, does everyone need the vitamins and supplements? Is there, like you said, follow up on your previous answer? So depends upon the physical exertion that you do, or do you living a sedentary lifestyle? I mean, how do you kind of evaluate that?
Well, I mean, kids, I don't think kids technically need supplements. I would not go with supplements for kids until they're 10 or 12, as their activity really grows. Now, if they're deficient in something, where you went to the doctor and he said, you know what, my kid is deficient in zinc, or he's having certain symptoms, yes, that could be evaluated, and then you move on. But what they're selling nowadays with the gummies and the vitamins for the kids, it's definitely not necessary. As long as they have a good diet, fruits, vegetables, they're getting good sleep, their bowels are moving properly, they're active, their growth is as what should be according to their age. I mean, kids technically don't need. Now, when you grow older as a teenager, of course, your activity is going to get more. You're in sports, you're in everything else. Even when you're a young person, you are out there, you're more stressed. So I think, yes, young people, teenagers definitely need something to give them back because they're definitely not eating right. So there's a time and frame, and that's where, the consultations, that's where it requires, because you don't want to just randomly go out there just because they're available, in the market. Especially in India. In India, it's very hard to know what is the right product and what is the correct brand or something, because of the issues. There is no governing body that's kind of going through these manufacturers and really scrutinizing them.
Correct. So then the follow-up, when you said about dummy, then how can one kind of evaluate the quality of the supplements that are available? How do we evaluate? I mean, which brands are there, and how do we evaluate what supplements to take? I mean, how do we know the effectiveness and quality of that product?
Well, you know what? It is tough to know. But what I will tell you is US is in the forefront of this, because the US has done so much research on supplements. Of course, they market it better than anybody. They consume more than everybody. And it was just a matter of time that the whole world is going to catch up. So I think stuff coming from the US is definitely viable, because in the US, in my 20 years, I have my own brand of supplements, as a matter of fact, because I saw it was, not that hard. I could get it, and I went to the factories. So there is a streamline of manufacturing practices that happen. And there are governing bodies that are watching these companies if their facility is GMP certified, which means good manufacturing practices, if they're organic, if they are following all the protocols, making sure their rooms are sterilized, the people that are working in there. So there are a lot of these companies, and there are a lot of these firms that really look out and go and check on these people or these manufacturers on a regular basis, which happens definitely in the US more than anywhere else. It is happening more in Europe and stuff. So the standard, I would say, anything coming from the US, but again, you have to understand, this market is also money driven, or economically driven. So there are going to be companies that just going to throw some random product out there and just be there. Especially what I would say, because India is in that forefront, is the body supplements. I know I'm going to talk a bit more about that, but the body, the body muscles and those weight loss, I would not touch any of those. And how I check on those vendors or those manufacturers or those brands, like I did for myself, I go and visit their facilities. And if they're in the business for 30, 40 years, they're doing something right. Because there is research involved in every ingredient and every product that comes out. So there's a lot of research behind everything. Now, of course, it is money driven, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But the stuff we carry on our website and our store, I have gone through these companies. I had known them for more than 20 years. They're in the business for 40, 50 years. they're like the pioneers. And I do not bring a brand which I have no clue or I've never seen in history, or just because they have a great product doesn't mean I have to sell it. So, and also, of course, I scrutinize them accordingly to what I recommend, what my customers are asking for. So to your point, which brand to recognize in India, I mean, definitely I would go for the American brands, and I would definitely ask the place or the store or wherever, or look online. Nowadays you can look, how are these brands really, structure themselves as, what are they claiming? What are they really saying about their history? How do they check the products? How do they, study the ingredients? So there's a lot of things that happen, and some companies follow the rule. They definitely follow the rule. So, there's expiry date, there's a lot of numbers, they check these. So that you're getting the efficacy in the product, of course. Whatever is claimed on the label is what you're going to be getting. And of course, the quality, so there are many brands which are good. And so that's how my procedure is in such.
All right. Now, I think the big question is here in this current pandemic that all of us are facing right now. Is there any kind of a suggestive supplement or mineral list that you suggest that one could follow?
So the protocols we've been doing for the last few weeks, but I have always been recommending this for every year, because every year we have a bout of influenza, which hits the US pretty hard. I don't know about India and such, but here, the virus influenza, it's every year. I mean, they have more deaths in influenza, 100,000, which nobody talks about. But right now, the COVID has been all over the news. So my recommendation, or what has really worked, or what should work, is first of all is vitamin D. Vitamin D is the most important, because technically it's not even a vitamin. I've done a whole video on that. People can go on the YouTube or even my Facebook. There's right there. It's a hormone, and we need to have that to the utmost level to fight these viruses, because your own body can fight everything. But it needs to be at that stage. Like that's why yoga comes in, meditation comes in, the right diet. So vitamin D is one thing, and I would say maybe between 2,000 to 5,000 I use per day, especially for this situation where we're happening. Now you may say, what, I'm in India, I'm in a tropical place, I don't need vitamin D. Yes, they're finding that people that are living in these hot environments and a lot of sunshine, they still are low in vitamin D, because not going out enough, and the color of the skin. The darker the skin, the melanin is so strong, it blocks that UV that's supposed to be converted into vitamin D. So they're finding that mothers who are giving birth to these babies are low in vitamin D. And that's basically a very silent pandemic that's happening in the background. Low vitamin D across the world. All the generations that are coming. So vitamin D is one big thing. Vitamin C, it's an antioxidant, very important thing that you can do. Now, there are a lot of other antiviral stuff that we have, I have been recommending, and it's been selling a lot in online generally everywhere. And people are getting results because I've used it, like I said, over the years. Silver, I don't know if you heard of silver. So basically just drinking silver water. I mean, in India, I don't know if you get the products, but in the old days, in the Egyptians, and I'm sure in the Indian culture also, they use silver utensils. So they used to pour the water, leave it overnight, just like the copper. It helps with the bowels and stuff. The silver is antiviral. And you will not believe it. I mean, I'm from Jamaica. They started selling silver water, just a general water, a bottle. So anybody who wants to put up a new product in India, that's one of the best things they can do, because in India, especially, you have bacteria, you have viral infections happening because of the conditions and stuff that's out there. So I think silver is very important. That's my given that I recommend all the time. Somebody who comes with the flu and issues like that. Then the other thing I would say, vitamin A. A lot of vitamin A is very important too. So antioxidants in general, and I call those ACEs. A, C, E, selenium. Those are very important. Those are the antioxidants. It's called ACEs. Zinc is another one. Zinc, what they found is a particular type of zinc, zinc sulfate. It worked really well with the hydroxychloroquine, the drug that they were using for this virus, or they are. It really makes the quinine get into the cells, because it's hard for anything to get into the cells, and the zinc facilitates that movement into the cell, which it kills the virus completely. So the zinc is a very good.
There was another study done that they stopped recommending specifically in the US hydroxychloroquine. So I don't know why. I mean, is there a reason behind that, or is there any theory or research behind that?
Oh, with the chloroxine, which one?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah, see, because people get carried away, then they start finding it themselves, and you don't want to do that, because if it's not in the super thing of a doctor or somebody professional, then you can overdo those things and you can have side effects. So there are problems with that, where people are going under their basically under the table and trying to find those things, right? So
Yeah.
so it's a very, you know, delicate situation, where when these results or these things come on, people go, you know, all over the place to find it, and especially in this environment where depression and where anxiety is, like, you know, huge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other thing I would say in the herbs, as in Ayurveda, because, you know, India is, of course, guduchi is one of the best things for antiviral, antibacterial.
Yeah.
There's another one called kutki. Kutki, you can get these at you know, your regular stores. I think Fab India sells, like I mentioned to you earlier, they sell a lot of that
Yeah.
organic. But those are the antibacterial, antiviral herbs. Of course, turmeric, you know, haldi is one of the best things. So generally
Correct.
having that, like a tea, haldi tea or something with garlic or ginger, those are all antiviral, antibacterial. Um, you know,
I also heard that iodine is good as well.
well, iodine is, of course, is also an antibacterial. Yes, you can. See, there is no one thing. So if you are trying different modalities and different herbs, yes, I mean, you will get rid of those symptoms. But you have to do them like homeopathy. You know, camphor was a big thing that they
Yeah.
thought. I mean, I'm sure it works. I didn't get to try it because I didn't have, but I did buy it. I did have it in my store. And of course, there's a great product that we have. It's from France. It's a homeopathic, and it's called oscillococcinum. I mean, this is like the longest word I ever heard. And it's basically comes from liver duck, you know, duck liver.
Okay. Okay.
And it's been used for influenza every year. It's been used to help with it. I have used it with my kids, because homeopathy you could use with kids also. There is no side effects and stuff. So oscillococcinum is one of the biggest things that we moved, and we got a lot of feedback with a lot of people getting results. So that was one of the biggest things also. I think in the virus, I mean, yeah. And you know, there are a lot of other remedies, that home remedies you could do, which everybody knows about, and you follow up. And you know, the key is to be consistent and just do the dosage. You have to do, like if you're drinking that kara tea or something, you know, with the turmeric and the haldi and the ginger and all that, you gotta do it 3-4 times a day. You know, you gotta do. And I have a little hacks also when I get certain, like I get a sore throat or something like that. I have different hacks, and if you don't mind, I can share some of those. Nothing to do with supplements or anything. So what I do is, when I start getting a tickle in my throat for 3 days, or for 3 or 4 times a day, I would take a shot of brandy. I would literally take a shot of alcohol, and I will gargle with it. So basically, you're burning, you're killing the bacteria, you're killing that virus. Or if you have a mouthwash, you know, like Listerine. Listerine is so strong. I don't use Listerine, but I keep it in my medicine cabinet for those days. So I try all these hacks. I mean, it's not one thing. You should try.
There is one question which someone has raised. Is there anything such as too much of vitamin C? I mean, or is there a recommended dosage that you know, across all ages? Like, is there a kind of a uniform standard?
No, there is no standard, because see, everybody is different. Everybody's individual, and plus you're aging, you're a different age group. For kids, as long as they're eating all these fruits and stuff, they technically don't need, unless their activity is really high, unless they're diagnosed with scurvy or something that's causing those issues. But there is one thing: as we age, a lot of the vitamins we get from our foods, but vitamin C, and they get converted. But vitamin C, we don't make enough vitamin C as we age. And there is a thing about, you should read a book called Sharks Don't Get Cancer. And that is because sharks create their own vitamin C internally. Yeah. So as we age, yes, I think the vitamin C requirement will go, because it's one of the biggest antioxidants. It's preventing the oxidation of oxygen and hydrogen. And that's what causes aging as such, right? But the stuff that you're getting in the market, you have to be very careful, because all what you're getting is a particular type of vitamin C, which is called ascorbic acid. And it is termed as vitamin, but it's still not natural. It's still made in the lab. And ascorbic acid could be very acidic for some people. So if you already have ulcers, if you already have digestive issues, so too much ascorbic acid can be a problem. So the best way, of course, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of those citrus fruits, of course, and amla. I mean, in Ayurveda, amla is one of the biggest sources of vitamin C. So continuously just racking that up. Now, the Americans do get a little bit carried away with just taking higher doses. I mean, I have people that take 5,000 milligrams. Yeah. So I will not take that every day, because what you're doing is you're killing your digestive system with the ascorbic acid. And it's when and how. Now, if you're sick, if you went through chemotherapy, if you are in your 70s or 60s and you have got certain issues, yes, I will tell you, you need to start taking, because the side effects are very low or nothing compared to the benefits. So yeah, there's a time and place for everything. But I think in general,
going towards time, is there a particular time where you should take certain kind of supplements before meal or an empty meal, or there is a kind of a procedure that one needs to follow, that this should follow this for the absorption, etc.? I don't know.
Yeah, oh, definitely, because vitamins are in two categories. There's fat soluble and there is water soluble. So you see, vitamin C, vitamin B, these are water soluble. So your body takes what it needs and it pees out the rest. But vitamin D, vitamin A, fish oil, those are oils, those are fats. Those are better taken with food, because once you have food in your stomach, your body is more likely to absorb. Now, there's a different times, because vitamin C and vitamin B, they are energizing. They will lift you up. They will give you that energy. For some people, it may be very subtle. For some people, it may be very high. So you don't want to take that at night. You rather take that in the morning, right? Or in the afternoon. Now, vitamin D, vitamin A, you don't really get to feel it. So that's a better option to do at night, and definitely with food. 90% of the time, I recommend vitamins with food, because I think you should have something in your stomach. Your body's already getting ready to absorb those nutrients. You're more likely to absorb those nutrients. Now, in the case of probiotics, you should be very careful. I have done a little video on that on my Facebook too, just this week. So probiotics should be done on an empty stomach, because your gut stomach acid is going to kill the bacteria. See, the bacteria has to survive and go into the intestines. So if you're eating, your stomach juices are already getting ready, and the stomach juices are so strong, they will kill that bacteria right away. So those are better.
But to give you just to give you a feedback, like for example, in my case, suppose if I've taken a probiotic on an empty stomach, it kind of I won't say it messes up, but it kind of releases gas and probably makes me pass motion. So is that it's cleaning up, or what's exactly happening? Because you can immediately feel that effect if you take a probiotic on an empty stomach.
So there are two things happening. You're right. To reach a good thing, you may have to go through a bad thing, meaning it is kind of cleansing, right? It is basically, it is off and it's trying to attach to the villi of my diet and making sure I'm getting enough vegetables and fruits. Of course, I don't get 100%. I may be getting 70% or 60%, but again, it's a give and take, right? You can overdo, of course, because you have to understand, say you took, because a lot of these people do, when they take, like everybody has this habit, I want to take everything in the morning with breakfast. So they take 10 pills and they put 10 pills in their mouth. So when you're popping 10 pills in your mouth, all those vitamins are competing with each other for vitamins. He just told me, you know what, I just went to my doctor and she said, your B12 is off the roof. You're off the charts. So I told him, of course, then back off, because he was doing B12, 5,000 mcgs every day. I mean, he's 75, but I guess his stomach is great, and he's not really a meat eater as such. I mean, he eats fish and stuff, but what I'm saying is you have to get tested. And I would not go with what the market demands, because the market is there. You have to understand 80% of the time, or 90%, it's money driven. It's definitely money. Absolutely. You should do you should do your own research, because there's so much out there. This is not like we were sitting in 30 years ago where we didn't have internet, we didn't have this going on, we didn't have YouTube videos. We can go out there, find the information, go get tested, and then do it. So don't randomly just take stuff. That's also, that's my model. I sell vitamins too. I want people to buy stuff for me, but I want to give them the right thing, because that's when they will come back, right?
Absolutely. And human mechanism is so dynamic. I mean, you cannot slot them into one particular basket. Everyone
No.
is different.
Yeah, so a lot of people come and say, "Oh, I have low energy. Should I take B12 or iron?" I say, "Did you get tested?" So energy has nothing to do with B12. Yes, the B complex provides energy, but that may not be the reason. The whole reason could be you're not sleeping well, you're not digesting well. There's so many other things. So
Yeah.
as a consultant, as a nutritionist, that's what I'd like to go deeper and to find out. I mean, if they want, of course, we have it. I'm here to make money too. So, right. So like everybody else. But my goal is always to explain them that, it's not exactly this, it may not be this. So there's a give and take kind of thing.
Sure. Also, there's there's this craze that has started about, or it's still there. I don't know. It's mostly common among the youngsters about these diet pills and short weight loss pills, and your quick fat loss pills. And so, I mean, is there any kind of authenticity to it, backed by research and study? I mean, are they safe? Do they have like serious side effects? Do people need to be aware of, or firstly, should they be taking it? So, could you address that?
Yeah, in my 20 years, when I first started this, of course, I was new to it. So the first 2 years, I was selling these, weight loss products. And in those days, there was a big product called Zenadrine. Zenadrine, I don't know if people have heard of it in India yet, but Hydroxycut, I'm sure they've heard of it because I've seen it in India. I've seen it everywhere. So again, when they show you research, they are doing it by one ingredient that they put, or the second ingredient, which might be fine. But I'll guarantee you this, every weight loss product has caffeine. Every weight loss product has caffeine. They may say coffee on it, they may say green tea on it, they may say yerba mate on it, they may say something else, some other name, but it has caffeine. And overdose of caffeine is not good, because what's going to do is you're not going to stop drinking your caffeine from coffee or green tea or black tea, and you're going to take this supplement also. So it's going to really shoot and kill your adrenals totally. It's going to totally. So I don't touch those weight loss. As a matter of fact, I do not sell weight loss products since the last 15 years because I realized it's market driven. And if that one particular product worked, why isn't everybody using it? Why? That's the only thing that we need. Because they may work short period of time, which caffeine will do anyways. Caffeine gives you, it suppresses appetite. You're burning, obviously you're burning calories. That's what's doing. So you can do that just having caffeine and just having green tea. Why buy these products? And why I stopped, I'll tell you why I stopped selling those. In 1 year, I had 3 or 4 clients, young girls, as a matter of fact, 3 of them were girls in their 20s, where their doctor told them they had a liver damage because of one ingredient that was in those products. So then it opened my eyes. I'm like, what the heck? Why am I even selling it? I don't care if people buy tons of it. I want to give this to somebody. I mean, why would I want to give this to somebody? So everybody gets excited. Like, oh, this weight loss, because marketing. Americans are great at marketing. You got to understand. They are great at finishing the product, and they're great at marketing. So weight loss, I would rather you understand that there is no one thing fit. No, not only gym, diet, gym, everything.
Everything.
I mean, as a matter of fact, in Veda, the main concern is your gut. If your stomach is not strong, you're going to gain weight. And that's what happens as you age. And people that have a very strong stomach, they will never gain weight. That means they feel great, the energy means their food is being transferred to energy like this. Meaning if I have a piece of steak, boom, I don't feel bloated or gassy, right? But somebody else, they would have a piece of steak, they're like, oh, I'm full. That means their digestion is not right, or maybe they shouldn't be having a steak. So you see what I'm getting at? It's like everything is relative. There is no one fix. There is no one fix. So weight loss, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a whole series of weight loss, videos and stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm coming up with my own, classes, which I'll be selling, where people go on a program as, 6-week program, 9-week program, or 3-month program, which involves everything. in India, I think that's where India is right now with the muscle building and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
very, very dangerous. They're very dangerous products. You may want to use them now and then just to get a quick thing, but long-term chronic stuff, I would not touch it. I mean, that's my take on it. I would not touch it.
Okay. And then now you said about kids, they really don't need supplements and minerals. So is there a kind of an age that you think where one can start getting tested and then, start taking in supplements? Do you see a kind of a trend or some age group where, you can start supplementing your health? Because you know that, Mike, like the access to junk food and other things and these sugar carbonated drinks and the exposure that the children now have was far less during our time. So and they pretty much have a sedentary lifestyle. I mean, most of them. I mean, it's not that they get down on the park and play for hours, 2 hours. So is there a kind of a age where you said that you can start taking these supplements and minerals?
I mean, there is no really age as such, but of course, a 2 and 3-year-old, I would not give supplements, because until at least when they're 8 or 10, their organs are tiny. Their liver, their pancreas, their kidneys are tiny. So for the body to work so hard to flush through these, these vitamins and stuff, it'd be overwhelming for the system. As long as they're eating well. Now you mentioned they are not eating well. Yes, I would maybe do a multivitamin, but the only thing you have to be careful with in the market for kids, there's only gummies or there's some sugar vitamin, right? Yeah. They really don't have anything in there, just sugar, because they're enticing that market. Correct. So you have to be. Correct. Best thing is, of course, give them fruits and vegetables. Now, what you can do is, like my wife does, she makes a great vegetable soup. Kids, like when they were younger too, they didn't like vegetables, so she would, steam them up, grind them, put them in a blender. Hey, we got 7 vegetables together. So if they were having that maybe every day or something, they're getting their nutrients. Yeah. Coming to like my son.
But you need to always add a fruit to give that sugary flavor. That's what I've experienced.
So that's the situation with kids, right? So that's what happens. So it's better to add a fruit than to add sugar itself. Because, fruits are sugar. That's what nature has given us, sugar. We really don't need sugar. That's what we created. We really don't need it. Sugar is all there in all the fruits, melons, mangoes, grapes. Yeah. All those are sugar. Yeah. So you're getting that. Now it all depends. Like your son or my son, they're very high demanding. Meaning their activities are high. Yeah. So obviously the nutrients that are coming from the food, it's just not enough. So yes, you would give them, and I mean, I give my son now and then. I don't give him every day. I would put it in his shake or in his smoothie. I would give him more vegetables in his smoothie, or I'll give him a multivitamin now and then. Again, I don't give it every day. So it all depends. And then of course, if the kid is diagnosed with certain deficiency because of certain symptoms, then yes, you have to, and I've seen like growth. For growth, vitamin D, zinc, selenium, those are very important. So if the kid is not growing according to his age, then we need to take care of those, right? So especially when, women would come in and they would say, oh, what should I give my 3-year-old? I said, no, you don't need to give it. The 3-year-old, as long as he's eating well, is he eating well? She said, yeah, he eats everything. What? You don't need to worry about it. Is the doctor saying that he's deficient or he's not growing? No. So well, then why are you worried? See, because the trend asks for it, so people get confused. And they're like, okay, I wanted to sell her, but you don't need, right? You don't need. So, I don't think there's an age, but definitely in the first few years, I usually don't recommend it unless there's an issue or something.
Okay. Excellent, Mike. And let me pose to you the last question and maybe put you a bit on a spotlight and tell you, like, even suppose if you have a really healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, and say probably you are, you have your limited portions, you're juicing, you're blending, you're, working out, you're getting adequate rest. Do you still advise to take in supplements?
Well, see, the term supplements is very general, right? So you have to be more precise, because supplements could be like weight loss. It could be, you should say multivitamin. Do I need a multivitamin? Because you have to understand, again, you could be doing the best of diet, but if you're aggressively exercising, say you're exercising, once every day for hours or 1 hour or something, like my son does, or you know what your son does. So yes, you need, I think you would need a multivitamin at least, or you would need certain amino acids for recovery. Yes, they come under the category of supplements, right? So yes, I would not say yes or no, because there's no black and white. You have to define where, you know, what you're trying to do. So technically, you know what, our parents, they didn't have a multivitamin and they're doing fine, right? But I mean, they're doing fine as much as, you know, whatever. My dad has diabetes, he's 80 years old, but obviously he didn't take care of his sugar intake, but otherwise he's great. You know, his mind is sharp as anything. At 80, he's doing fine. So it all depends. You don't have to, as long as you're having a great diet. But I said, if your activity is a tad little higher than an average person, then maybe you should look into some of those recovery stuff, especially antioxidants, ACEs. If you don't want to do anything, just do those ACEs, ACES.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's the basics. You know, because you're getting your nutrients from food. So as long as you're eating those fruits, vegetables, you're doing those green shakes. Nowadays you have all these superfoods. You know, I did a video on the superfoods, spirulina. In India, the biggest thing is moringa. Right? Moringa is like a natural multivitamin. It's definitely a natural multivitamin. B complex, it's got amino acids, it's got protein, it's got everything. So if you're doing that, yeah, maybe you don't. So you have to figure out yourself, kind of, you know what, I feel great. I feel energetic. My bowels are good. My sleep is good. I recover very fast in my gym, workouts and stuff. Now, if you're not, then yes. So it's a give and take. There's no fixated thing that, yeah, you have to do it. No, you don't have to do it. It's all about how you feel. That's why it's important to do your own due diligence and not to just to follow the market or follow your friend or follow the trend. You got to do your own thing. And but you and me are coming together to be mindful. And that's what we want to put out there to public. You gotta be mindful.
Exactly. How many people do actually listen to their bodies? So that's you know, they're just going with the herd mentality.
As a matter of fact, today on my Facebook, my topic is, I don't know if you saw, who's your life partner? And I'm going to be on Facebook Live. Who's your life, you know, partner? It's not your wife. It's not your husband. It's not your parents. It's not your kids.
Your body.
It's this.
Your body.
Because if the partner goes away, I'm gone. Right?
Yeah.
So
True.
You got to take care of this guy. Right? You got to take care of this guy. You got to do right. You got to make sure you sleep right. You eat right. And why abuse? So when you understand that, why do you abuse the body? You know, abuse could be, I'm sleeping late. I get up without any energy. But because you're sleeping late. Right?
True.
You know you have to go work the next day, but you're sleeping at 12 o'clock, and then you expect to have energy. So you see where the trend is happening. Oh, I do have energy. I need B12. Well, you know what? I can't think. I need something for concentration. Well, you didn't sleep. Yeah, you didn't sleep. It happened. So that's my topic today. Just talking about your life partner and how you can relate to yourself, and you should. So I hope I did all your questions.
Brings us to a session. It was fantastic, and we got some really good topics covered. And I'm going to save this post and video and put it out on the social media pages, so people who have missed out could really gain knowledge and information from this talk. Thanks once again for having us, and we're going to do a lot more of these sessions on really interesting topics. And take care. Have a great weekend ahead.
Yes, definitely want to do more. I mean, if you have streamlined certain topics, certain categories of health or certain issues, we want to tackle it. I mean, it's only about me learning.